Namaskar. Welcome to another episode of Editorial. I have a very interesting episode for you today. Very interesting episode. Two topics. The first topic is the Chief Election Commission is a little miffed with the Prime Minister's office. Let's understand why they are miffed with the Prime Minister's office. My discussion number 2 is about the Hindutva poll strategy. Hindutva during Savarkar's time was used as a political strategy, but it got converted into a poll strategy. Let's talk about Hindutva poll strategy. Let's get right into the show. Now, the Chief Election Commissioner, Mr. Sunil Chandra, got a letter from the Prime Minister's office. This letter from the Prime Minister's office said that Mr. Sunil Chandra, the CEC, Chief Election Commissioner, is expected to be available for the meeting, online meeting with the Prime Minister's office, the Principal Secretary, Mr. P.K. Mishra of the Prime Minister's office. Mr. Chandra said, "Ye kya hai yaar? Why should I be there? Why am I supposed to be there? Why should I interact with the Prime Minister's office, Baba? I am not supposed to interact with the Prime Minister's office because the Chief Election Commissioner is an autonomous body. We are autonomous. We don't interact with Prime Ministers and Ministers and all. And I have to say, how are you, sir? And I say, nahi hota hai. We maintain our distance, autonomy. So yeah, we don't go and meet people and meet Prime Ministers and all. It is very rare that we interact with Prime Ministers." So he said, "Not on. This is not fair." Is he right? Yeah, he's right. He's right. Because if the Chief Election Commissioner and the Commission starts taking orders from Prime Minister, taking orders from Chief Ministers, taking orders from Ministers, then what is the veracity of the Chief Election Commission? The Chief Election Commission is the body that is supposed to supervise. I'll give you a definition. The Election Commission of India, which is headed by the Chief Election Commissioner, and the Chief Election Commissioner have got 2 subordinate election commissioners. So there are 3 election commissioners. And the Election Commission of India is an autonomous body under the ownership of Ministry of Law and Justice, Government of India. We will explain that to you in a while. It is established by the Constitution of India directly to ensure free and fair elections in the country. Article 324 of the Constitution provides that the power of superintendence, direction and control of elections to Parliament, State Legislature, the Office of the President of India, the Office of the Vice President of India shall be vested in the Election Commission. Thus, the Election Commission is an all-India body in the sense that it is common to both the central government and the state governments. So this is the Chief Election Commission. While it is owned, which means it reports to the Ministry of Law and Justice, but it is insulated from actually reporting to the executive. It reports to the Law and Justice Ministry, but it has autonomy. It has autonomy because, see, what does this commission do? What is the role of a commission and the commissioners? The role of the commission is to ensure that, Baba, one particular party, if Samajwadi Party tomorrow has a problem, or if Bharatiya Janata Party has a problem, or a Congress has a problem, they go to them. They go to them and then they resolve the problem. They actually act as superintendents, as it is rightly said. They supervise an election. They decide what is right and wrong. They call foul if something goes wrong. So they are like referees in an election. So if the referee goes and takes orders and referee goes and takes meetings with one of the team captains and teams, then what is the fairness? How can you expect fairness from that referee? So this is the problem. This is exactly the problem. The problem is the commission said that, Baba, listen, you know what? We are not supposed to go. What is this letter all about? How can you write a letter to me saying that you have to be present? Why? Because the Principal Secretary of the PMO, Prime Minister, Mr. P.K. Mishra wants to see you. So you better be there. Like you. So that was an issue. Acha, now these three people didn't attend the meeting, but then later on they had an informal chat. So it is not that they said no. In fact, they had already attended 2 meetings before. This was supposed to be the third meeting. The meeting was supposed to be discussing common electoral roll. That is what this meeting was supposed to be discussing. Today we have 3 commissioners. Like I said, the chief election commissioner is Sunil Chandra. His number 2 is Rajiv Kumar, and the third person, Anup Kumar Pandey. Anup Kumar Pandey, he was the chief secretary in Uttar Pradesh government headed by Yogi Adityanath. So he was already reporting to Yogi Adityanath recently. He was transferred and put into election commission. So there are already eyebrows raised. Uske upar ye. So this is what happened with the election commission. Now let us get into our topic number 2. Every brand has a proposition. Every brand has a proposition. And the brand, like I told you before, and I told you many a times, a brand's proposition has to be distinctively different from that of the other brand, the alternative. That's what a proposition is. And if a brand can come up with a strong proposition, the brand normally succeeds in a marketplace. Okay. Politics and political party are no different. And I've always been saying this also, that end of the day, marketing and consumer behavior and voter behavior and political party, there are a lot of similarities. I'm not saying they're exactly similar, but there are a lot of similarities in both. And I'm going to prove it to you today. Okay. There was this party called Bharatiya Janata Party. Bharatiya Janata Party was an offshoot or whatever. It was a political wing or whatever you call it of this body, this cultural organization called Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, a Hindu ideological organization. Okay. Now, 1984 was their first election and they did very badly. They had 2 seats in the parliament. 2 seats. So they decided, something has to be done. And the political strategy for Bharatiya Janata Party started with a line called Garv se kaho hum Hindu hai. They started holding on to this political this proposition of Hindutva. Hindutva. So, Garv se kaho hum Hindu hai. How is Hindutva different to a regular Hindu? Let me tell you. What Bharatiya Janata Party did is they weaponized the concept of Hinduism. They weaponized it. Now, mind you, it is not that they created a gun or they went and that's not created an army and all. That is not what I am saying. But what they did is they started creating this concept of Hindutva based on the fact that Hindu khatre mein hai, based on the fact that Jago Hindu Jago, based on the fact that a Hindu has been, subjugated to a lot of appeasement and lot of torture and lot of neglect and all of that. So they grouped the Hindu to stand against something. So they created a Hindu group. Hindutva is a concept of being united against something. That's what they created. That's why I said they weaponized the concept of Hindutva. What is that something? Congress Party. That was the something that Hindutva was supposed to be standing against, or parties which spoke about secular, and that is how they say that secular parties are appeasing Muslims and secular parties are appeasing the minority and so on and so forth. So basically, brand Hindutva, what was created before as a political proposition by Savarkar, and the way it got manifested, way it got converted to a poll strategy by Bharatiya Janata Party, especially L.K. Advani and his team at that point in time in 1984. In fact, this concept of Garv se kaho Hindu hai started somewhere in 1987 to 1988. Okay, so this was Hindutva. As things progressed, Modi came in, Amit Shah came in, Yogi came in, and the weapon became more and more powerful and potent. And Hindutva became the biggest strategic tool that was used by the Bharatiya Janata Party in any elections. any elections. In fact, the least Hindutva was used during 2014. After 2014, every state, municipal, assembly, like I said, Lok Sabha election, every election, Hindutva was used with a huge backing of media and of on-ground propaganda. And this Hindutva always had an enemy. Always had an enemy, whether it is Shaheen Bagh during Delhi, or whether it is Pakistan, or whether it is whatever. It always had an enemy. So Hindutva was against, like I said, something. Okay. So this was a beautiful strategy. Did it work? Of course it worked. It worked. From 2 seats in 1984 to 303 seats in 2021, or whatever, 2019. Wow, it worked fabulously. अच्छा, now Congress तो चुप नहीं बैठेगा. Congress is trying this new strategy. Congress's strategy is हम हिंदुत्व नहीं, हिंदू है. We don't agree to Hindutva. We are Hindu, Baba. We are Hindu. We don't agree to Hindutva. Now, why I say it's a counter strategy is because what Congress is trying to do is this thing which Erik Erikson way back had created this term called identity crisis. Congress is trying to do that. Okay, I'll tell you what I mean by that. You see, it's like you standing for a line, in a line. Okay, the line is taking you to your dining table, So you are waiting for your dinner with a plate held in your hand. And you can't see what is in the table, but you are standing in that line. And somebody taps you from your back and says, "Tum idhar kyun khada hai? Why are you standing here, Baba?" You say, "I'm standing to get my dinner." And the person says, "Your dinner thodi hai. This is not dinner. This is breakfast, Baba. Dinner is in that line." Hey, you say, "Arey yaar, I have been standing here with a plate. Dinner yahan nahi hai." Yeah, no, dinner is that. This is breakfast. So what happens is, it is sort of a crisis. I'm giving an example, a loose example, but all the same an example where he's into an identity crisis. Because, am I standing for dinner or am I standing for breakfast? Now, juxtapose the same thing what Congress is trying to do. What is Congress trying to do? Congress is saying that, Baba, you are Hindu, no? So you are saying yes. So why are you standing in a Hindutva line? Baba, they are saying Hindutva is not Hinduism. Hinduism different. Hindutva different. Hindutva is about Satta. Hinduism is about Satya. They stand for Hinduism. We stand for Satya, Baba. So we are Hindus. Now what they are trying to do is they are trying to create an identity crisis. They are saying that, listen, you know what? You are standing in the wrong line in the first place. Because mind you, while you see a lot of Hindutva that is being propagated, it is not that every Hindu is following Hindutva. A lot of Hindus are standing in the Hindutva queue is because they are Hindus and they believe in that and they feel, connected to that line to a certain extent. But Congress is trying to create that drift saying that no, Hindutva is different and Hinduism is different. So this is Congress's strategy. Is it going to work? I don't know. Is it a good strategy? Well, not a bad strategy. Yeah, let us see whether it works or not. Whether Congress can deliver this strategy to the public, to the masses, that's a question that we need to sit and watch. Whether it can actually deliver it, whether it has the power to deliver it. L.K. Advani had the power to deliver Hindutva. Modi had tremendous power to deliver Hindutva. Amit Shah has power to deliver Hindutva. Yogi has power to deliver Hindutva. Does Rahul Gandhi has that power to deliver Hinduism, which is different to Hindutva? That is something that one needs to see. But if he can deliver, it is not a bad strategy, let me tell you. But you know what? This saddens me. This saddens me for our country. Because while Hinduism is a beautiful religion, and the fact that it is used as a proposition for polls, it saddens me. You see, we are currently facing malnutrition. Our children are facing malnutrition. And we are bothered about creating proposition on Hindutva and Hinduism. You know, our hunger index, we are falling every year on year, we are going down. More and more people are hungry in our country, and our major political parties are trying to hone their Hindutva, Hindu strategy. Press freedom, employment, human rights, everything is in disarray. And we, our political parties, are bothered about creating Hindutva strategy. Hinduism, you're used to win your votes. These are clear strategies. I have told them to you. These are clear strategies that are used. Is that going to help the dharma? It is going to help the religion? It not. Will it harm the religion? Possibly it will. Possibly it will. Will it harm this country? 100% it will. Will it harm the poor of this country? 300% it will. That's what we need to understand. And that's why this editorial. I'll see you next time. Namaskar.